at the outset that what is more important? Till now we have understood that the drug is being discovered. Preclinical trial, first the molecule has been designed and then you try it in animals and then in human beings you are ready with the drug. What is more important? Efficacy or safety?
Safety.
Efficacy
Safety.
or safety?
Safety.
Safety is more important because the patient is coming to you with trust. You see, maybe you cannot benefit him, maybe you cannot relieve him, but can you harm him?
Awesome.
No. Doctor is regarded as next to God. You cannot do that. So safety is more important than efficacy, certainly. This adverse drug reaction and its monitoring we are going to talk. Why? I have done a survey study. This is the research published. I have done a survey with the residents and the interns. How many residents and interns know the term pharmacovigilance? Majority of the interns and residents were not aware what is pharmacovigilance. They were not aware that the ADR to be reported. This has been published in the journal Clinical Therapeutics and Clinical Research Management. This is the international journal where this study is published. Then there is one more study I have done, published in Indian Journal of Pharmacology. This says that the voluntary ADR reporting by the clinician is inadequate. We must report the ADR, whatever adverse effect we are encountering, we must report. This is the reason why we are here. And this kind of CME on pharmacovigilance is a must. Every medical college, hospital must sensitize the clinicians to report the ADR. And in this regard, last year I invited Dr. Devashish in my Medical College Careers Institute to speak and to sensitize, and I am highly thankful that many clinicians are now reporting the ADRs. So I thanked him. He was just wonderful. He motivated the clinicians and the students. And one question he asked, I remember, to the student, that suppose he asked कि एक लड़की को छेड़ दिया एक लड़के ने, आप उसको रिपोर्ट करेंगे कि नहीं करेंगे? क्यों करेंगे? क्यों करेंगे?
Prevent further.
Correct. To prevent further such incidents. This is very important. So this is the aim of the present CME. ADR, what is ADR and what is this reporting all about? So what is this pharmacovigilance? The word pharmacovigilance, there are two words included. The word pharmacon means the drug, and vigilare is the Latin word which means to be watchful. So, about the drug we are watchful. What to watch, what to look is the adverse drug reaction. What is the drawback? And there is a WHO definition of pharmacovigilance, and it defines what we mean by pharmacovigilance. The science and activities relating to the detection, assessment, understanding and prevention of ADRs or any other drug-related problem. So that is the meaning of pharmacovigilance. Now, why do we do this pharmacovigilance? What is the need? The need is, we have understood from Dr. Junmuni that we do preclinical trials. On animals we test the drug. Can you elaborate it on human beings? Can you extrapolate the results that in the animals there are no ADRs? Can you say that in human beings also there won't be this ADR? No. the human body is much different, so you cannot extrapolate. So preclinical trials in animals are insufficient to predict the human study. Further, in clinical trials also, maybe Dr. Pooja Shukla has told that we do in suppose up to 3,000 individuals, we do clinical trials. But suppose I ask, if an ADR occurs in 1 in 10,000, can you detect in clinical trial? No. Suppose somebody dies because of bone marrow depression, 1 in 10,000, you are going to miss it in the clinical trial. So that's the reason why do we do pharmacovigilance. ADRs, we must have a post-marketing safety data that this ADR is happening 1 in 10,000, this is happening in 1 in 5,000, this is happening how frequently. So we must have a post-marketing data. The ADRs, by the way, are the 5th largest cause of mortality. We call it iatrogenic diseases. The diseases due to due to ADR. And they account for more than 10% of all hospital admissions, these ADRs. Now, how? We have understood what is pharmacovigilance, why do we do that? Now, how do we do that? What is the process of pharmacovigilance? First thing is we do data collection. We must have a data, and for that we have to record it in a data. This is the ADR form. The standard in India, we have this kind of form, and I would like to distribute it. Can somebody help me? Every clinician should have this. This is suspected ADR reporting form by CDSCO in India. Every healthcare professional must report ADR using this form. And this is very simple to fill. Even if you skip 1 or 2, doesn't matter. But it is important that you must fill it in this form. We call it internationally ICSR, Individual Case Safety Report. Because a pharmaceutical company who is exploring a drug has also to submit a form. Internationally, they make a different form. So, by CDSCO in India, this is the standard form. Similarly, we also have a form for patients. This is a little different, more simple, and it is available also in 10 vernacular languages, in Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, and other regional languages. This is available. So consumer also can report. So when we get this report, how do we go about it? It should be submitted to the ADR monitoring center, where we do the causality assessment, how it is related with the drug. This ADR, what is the probability of its linking with the drug that you have administered. Then it has to submit this information further to NCC, National Coordination Center in India at Rajnagar, Ghaziabad. So there they keep all the database. How do we send this data? There is a software, VigiFlow, through which the ADR monitoring center sends the information to NCC. They keep the database and analyze this, review all this data. And then they must send it to a global pharmacovigilance center, which is at Sweden, in Uppsala. That is UMC, Uppsala Monitoring Center at Sweden, which has the whole data bank. Then they will decide whether drug to be banned or to label it as a safe drug and continue. So action is taken by them. Also, in India, as Dr. Pooja Shukla has told, we also make PSUR, Periodic Safety Update Report. So this is processed at CDSCO. The regulatory authority itself can take an action and ban the drug. So, and also it is also corresponding with the UMC at Sweden. So the UMC also can give the feedback to the National Regulatory Authority in India. So they are in liaison. Now I would like to talk more about the ADRs. The students are also here. This topic is very important. We must have a good knowledge of adverse drug reaction before we report that. We know that the drug has a desirable effect and also has an undesirable effect. Everything has two sides of the coin. A drug has a desirable action and undesirable action. The undesirable effect of the drugs are called the adverse drug reaction, in short ADR. And there are several types of ADRs. What are the types of ADRs? One is augmented pharmacological effect. Pharmacological effect, we know that this drug is going to cause, suppose, drowsiness, sleepiness. When you give the drug more, there will be more drowsiness, sleepiness. So that is augmented pharmacological effect. That is predictable and that is dose dependent. And there are subtypes of this augmented pharmacological effect. One is toxicity, which happens at a very high dose, or we call it as poisoning. Then, for example, morphine has an analgesic effect at suppose 50 milligram dose, 500 milligram dose may be causing a respiratory depression. And that is due to respiratory failure. So that we call toxicity. Now intolerance happens toxicity at a lesser dose. This is because of increased sensitivity. For example, morphine, if we give in elderly and small children, which are more sensitive, so then we get toxicity at a lesser dose. Then side effects. What is side effect? Side effect and ADR is not the same thing. Side effect means that ADR which happens at a normal standard dose, which is part of the pharmacological profile of the drug, which happens by the side of the effect. So that side effect happens because of non-specificity of the drug action. For example, morphine. Morphine at analgesic dose also produces several other effects. They contribute to the side effects. For example, it also causes constipation, it causes meiosis, it causes urinary retention, it causes hypotension. So all that contribute to the side effects. Now, augmented pharmacological effect type A, we also have type B, bizarre effect. Bizarre means out of the blue, suddenly, we didn't expect it. So that bizarre effect is unpredictable and non-dose dependent. These kind of adverse drug reactions are genetically determined. For example, in G6PD deficiency, primacoin causes massive hemolysis, and genetic variations also happen in population. For example, INH. Some are slow acetylated, some are fast acetylated. So depends on the genetic variability, INH dose, 300 milligram or 450 milligram, which dose you want to choose, depend upon the genetics of the individual. Now, drug allergy. You cannot predict that this person is going to be allergic to this drug. So that depends on the genetics. So this drug allergy, also called loosely as hypersensitivity, ideally it should not be the same. Hypersensitivity means more sensitivity, but allergy is entirely different thing. Allergy is antigen-antibody reaction. It is immunologically mediated. Now, allergy is also, this, what happens is, some drug is acting as a pro-antigen. Along with a host protein, it makes full antigen. We call it hapten. So this hapten is going to produce antibodies in the human body. And this is going to cause different kind of allergy. We call type 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 kinds of drug allergy happen. Now, in first kind, there is anaphylactic reaction. In anaphylactic reaction, it sits on the histamine, is a mast cell which releases histamine and other inflammatory mediators, causing allergic reaction. For example, anaphylactic shock by penicillin. Also, blood cytolysis can happen. Some blood cells can be damaged. For example, if RBC is damaged, it is hemolytic anemia. If WBC, it is agranulocytosis. If the platelets, it is thrombocytopenia. So, blood cytolysis. Now, complex antigen antibody reaction, there occurs vasodilatation by this complement compound, and we get Arthur's reaction, serum sickness like picture. Then delayed hypersensitivity. Delayed hypersensitivity, also the lymphocytes, they are involved, they cause contact dermatitis. Now chronic effects. The chronic effects, as the name suggests, happen when the drug is used chronically over a period of time. So they occur on prolonged use. They are duration dependent, not dose dependent. For example, aspirin on prolonged use cause analgesic nephropathy, not on single use. Similarly, corticosteroids, if you give one dose, no Cushing syndrome. If you give on long duration, suppose 4 weeks, 6 weeks, then the patient comes with this kind of picture. Moon faces, hump, and like this. We call Cushing syndrome. Also, phenothiazines cause orofacial dyskinesia. Now the delayed effects. The delayed effects, they occur after, long time after the drug is stopped. Delayed effect, for example, carcinogenicity by radioisotopes. Suppose iodine 131 you have used for suppose there is thyroidism or thyroid cancer. Long time after, the patient comes after years with a cancer due to radioactive iodine which you used long time before. Also, I tell you, this one estrogen has been used, diethylestylbistrol, in the mother. In the daughter, this cancer can happen. This cervical cancer can happen. In the daughter, the mother has used diethylestylbistrol. In the daughter, after her birth, 20 years later in her life, she developed. So that is the delayed effect. Then end of treatment. Stopping the drug suddenly causes the ADR. So this is because the drug has caused adjustment, adaptation of the human body. Suppose you were giving propranolol or clonidine for a long time for hypertension, and someday you stop it suddenly. There would be hypertensive crisis. So that is end of treatment effect. Also with corticosteroid, if you stop it abruptly, it's going to cause adrenal crisis. So we stop it gradually. Also withdrawal syndrome by morphine or addictive drug, it is under end of treatment effects. So fetal effects because of the drug used by the mother. Avoid all drugs in the mother unless the benefit exceeds the risk. So the effect depends upon the maternal drug intake. When have you taken? If you've taken in the first half months of the pregnancy, then abortion will happen. Some drugs do cause that. This is the vulnerable time, half month to 2 months. This is the period of organogenesis, when the malformations occur in the fetus. Various teratogenic effects we get. Teratos means the monster. So that effect, malformation of the fetus because of the organogenesis period. For example, thalidomide. This disaster. Everybody after this drug is talking about pharmacovigilance and strict ADR monitoring. This is the thalidomide disaster. in Europe it has happened in 30s, 40s. Thalidomide was used very commonly in mothers as a sedative hypnotic. Everybody was surprised. Children were born without limbs, phocomelia, and nobody knew that a drug can cause this. And there was a panic. What is this happening? Then it was realized, oh, thalidomide, this drug is the cause. Then it was havoc created that there must be a strong regulatory agency to assess before passing a drug into the market. It must be rigorously trialed. So this was thalidomide. Then 2 months onwards, abnormal growth and development occurs. As we know with tetracyclines, this discoloration of teeth. And so, what kind of ADRs we have? Augmented type A, augmented pharmacological, type B, bizarre effect. This is alphabetical classification, A, B, C, D, E, F. Now, one thing I want to say in Lippincott, F is failure of therapy, which in my opinion is not an adverse effect. If the therapy is going to fail, it is not going to harm much. But F fetal, I have done this. F for fetal I have done, because Lippincott has missed that. So this is the alphabetical classification of ADR that I have done. Now ADR reporting, that's the talk of the today. Why should we report ADR? Now, first thing, what to report? Suppose we know that this drug is known to cause this. We know that this drug is going to cause this. Should we report it or not? I ask you whether you should report it or not. Yes is the answer. Even if you know that this drug is known to cause this, you must report it. Because we want to know how much it's going to, what percentage is the ADR that happens. Whether it is serious or not, whether it is frequent or rare, you are going to report. Then, whether you get it by allopathic drug or by Ayurvedic drug or Unani drug, you must report ADR. Whether you get it by a blood or blood product, whether you get by some medical device, you should report. Who can report? ADR, who can report? All healthcare providers. Clinician, dentist, nurse, pharmacist, even the patient himself can report. Whom to report? You see, immediately we have the ADR monitoring center. In medical colleges and hospitals, in India at present there are about 200 AMC, ADR monitoring center. So you can report to AMC or you can directly report to the NCC at Ghaziabad through the email, or you can sending this form to CDSCO or sending to NCC. You can report it by phone or by email or by post. You can send this. How to report? We have reporting forms. This I have showed you, suspected area reporting form, then consumer reporting form. We also have this in Hindi, in many languages. This consumer form is available. Also for blood and blood product, we have a different kind of form. We call it TRR form, transfusion reaction reporting form. We call this hemovigilance. For drugs, we call pharmacovigilance. For blood and blood product, we call it hemovigilance. And for medical device, we call it Pharmacovigilance. Then there is a helpline number also available. If you don't want to do this, you just call this number on weekdays, on working time. So this your ADR report would be registered. Then we also have a mobile app, very useful. I used to just send the all ADRs by using this app. It's a wonderful app, very easy to use. This ADR PVPI. This ADR PVPI app, you can easily download in your mobile and just is very easy to fill. What adverse reaction you have encountered and in which patient. The patient is, identity is confidential, and what is, when it has happened, what other drugs you have taken along with that, very easy to fill. So there are other apps also, but this is by Government of India, ADR PVPI. Now, ADR reporting, there is, first thing, there is no legal problem for either the patient or the reporter. It is not like this that I am going to report this has happened with my drug, why should I report? There is no legal binding. This form filling in RTI also, there is no any law that can sue you. So it is imperative that we must report it. The patient, his identity is confidential, as well as the reporter, his identity is also kept confidential. Then we have a causality assessment. That this is a very simple chart. There are Naranjo scales, there is WHO scale, that this drug, how likely it is correlated with the adverse effect. So that causality assessment, very simple, that we do like this. Whether it is related with the time sequence, when you have given the drug, this has happened. So this is time sequence, yes. So it will be possible. So then other drug or disease is ruled out, then it becomes probable. When you have given D-challenge means when you have stopped the drug, the ADR has stopped, has abated. We call it D-challenge. D-challenge means when you have stopped the drug, the ADR has vanished. So when D-challenge is positive, then it becomes probable. When rarely, when you want to further confirm, when the ADR is not very serious, you can re-challenge, you can give the drug again to confirm it. Then it becomes certain that the drug has caused this ADR. So I should conclude here that the ADR is because of this. So that's how we do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.